Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry for the hold up. I had to. Abu Zahra, no, I'm not about to add you, man. Keep making all them freaky posts, man. No, I'm not adding you until you stop making them freaky posts. Why? What's wrong with you? uh, this Abu Zahra, this is not I'm not wrecking right now. We teaching. So this the heavy stuff right here. This is real heavy. This ain't no light work right here. So alhamdulillah. Sorry I had my shirt on, but I had to remake wudu. Sorry for the hold up. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very detailed topic. Inshallah, support Black Muslim media. We have knowledgeable people as well. We have scholars and we do have students of knowledge. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. So support. We take a lot of time out of our days. Hey, Darius, what's going on, Aki? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. We take a lot of time out of our day to bring you all these videos, inshallah ta'ala. So please support the good brothers and sisters that are, taking these efforts up and alhamdulillah, trying to bring the sunnah, the ahlul sunnah wal jama'ah to our people. So we're going to dive straight in because this is a very detailed topic, and I'm just going to brush over it. I'm just going to give us an idea of what's going on with this situation, inshallah ta'ala. I'm not going to go from a scholarly standpoint. We're not going to hit it from every single angle like the scholars like to do. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. I am a talibul ilm. So we're going to keep it real simple for the people, inshallah. And we're going to keep it simple enough for the people to understand, inshallah ta'ala. And this is very, very important. Please, everybody, let me say this because I have all kinds of salafis attacking me personally, my character. They don't even know me, just because of my stance against the Salafi minhaj. That these are my views, and this is the views of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So you're not disagreeing with me; you are disagreeing with Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and this is what we're going to prove today in these videos. That's what all of these refutations are about. We are proving what the true aqidah of the Salaf is. So it's nothing personal against anybody. And all of y'all say the Kalima Shahada. So if anybody said anything that backbit me or slandered me in any kind of way, what's going on? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, Ibn Charles. If anybody says anything, that violated my rights, I forgive them. Y'all don't know no better, and I hope that y'all forgive me if I have violated any of y'all's rights. So none of this stuff is personal. Oh, I keep doing that. None of this stuff is personal. This is all contextual. This is all textual. And this is all about everybody claim that they are sincere. Everybody's making these, making posts, like as if you're the best Muslim in the world. So we're going to put that to work, inshallah ta'ala. We are going to, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to break down a very controversial topic. It's not controversy. It's not. There's no controversy with Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We need to know this stuff. These things are from the things that are mandatory to know from Islam. From Islam, these things are mandatory to know. So, oh shoot, Sorry. Okay. I'm trying to find all of my little all of my stuff. Okay. So this stuff is mandatory for us to know. We have to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you don't know who you are worshiping, then you're not worshiping. Uh, this is a very, 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 very serious topic. We cannot play with this. I try to say this as much as possible. This is not who can have the last say on Facebook. This is not who can argue the best. This is not who has the most eloquent words, which is very popular nowadays. We have a lot of people that are just eloquent, very eloquent with words. So this ain't none of that. Yeah, we're strictly Quran, strictly Sunnah, and it needs to be in context. And this is a very I've taken up this struggle because it is a problem. It's a problem in the Black community. It's not so much a problem in other communities. They've already whooped the Salafis and the Wahhabis and run them out of town. They've ran them out of town already, and it seems like they're trying to reinvent themselves and use the Black community to do so, because we're the ones that are that have revived the Salafi and Wahhabi minhaj after it was destroyed in the 90s and the 2000s by the Arab brothers and sisters, the African brothers and sisters, the Pakistani and Hindi Muslim brothers and sisters. They already destroyed them and crushed them and ran them out of town. Even in Europe, they've crushed them, except for like in England. So it's a problem. So we're dealing with what is the problem. This is not picking or any of that. It's this none of the messy stuff. This is not that. We're gonna go straight Quran and Sunnah. And let me say this: don't be the fool in the comments that's saying you're not really winning any proof. Because I'm gonna read two of the quotes of two of the two of the biggest scholars in the Salafi Wahhabi religion. I'm gonna read two of their quotes. So don't come in here talking about I'm not coming with proofs. Everything that I ever say is with proofs. And if it doesn't have a proof or I'm not sure about it, I'm going to say it. And I always put people to work. It's even a part in here where I would like to put some people to work. And nobody ever does the work. All they do, oh, you don't know nothing about Salafiyah. You don't know this. You don't know that. You stuttered when you said the word in Arabic. Yeah, all right, whatever. But my Aqidah is straight. My Aqidah is straight. So I would rather be the Muslim with the straight Aqidah who stutters with the Arabic from time to time than be the spelling bee champion of Arabic, but my Aqidah is upside down and it's crooked and it's trash. So this is tabligh to our people. This is tabligh to people in general of Aqidah, and be humble. Let me remind us, this is first a reminder for myself. This is first a reminder to myself. Let's not fall into hypocrisy. Remember that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam told us that nifaq is to belittle people, which the Salafis love to do, and to reject the haqq, which the Salafis love to do. They comment on the videos, they share the videos and so forth, and put all these slanderous, a big long slanderous post on the video, and don't even listen to the video or even refute, in a scholastic manner, the stuff that I'm saying. I ain't getting on here just blowing smoke. That ain't what's happening here. I'm going straight from the books, like they say they like to do. Only Quran and Sunnah. That's how we roll. We own the Quran. The people of the form of that, we own the Quran and Sunnah, and we lease it out to all of these deviant groups, if that's a good analogy. So we own the Quran and Sunnah. So when y'all talking about Quran and Sunnah, we own it. Know that. We own it. Know that. So this is all with proofs. You are a dummy and an ignoramus if you jump in the comments and you get to just throwing slanders and you ain't got no proofs. I'm willing to talk to anybody, and I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. Really, these videos is an excuse for the Salafi and Wahhabi religion. It's an excuse for them. I hope one of them can come and prove the whole entire world wrong. And since the Salafi and Wahhabis came in the early 1900s with Ibn Abdul Wahhab, since they came, uh, 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 they have never proven the best scholars wrong about this stuff. So I hope that I would be the one to make history, and we can get this thing hashed out, and y'all would be the fifth madhab and the fourth school of Aqidah. But that hasn't happened yet, so we're gonna roll with it. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into the topic. So first and foremost, let me also say this. This is also not directed towards any of the followers, the lay people in the Salafi minhaj. Y'all don't know no different. Y'all took Kalima Shahada in Philadelphia. 90% of Philadelphia is Salafi and Wahhabi. Y'all don't know the difference. Vast majority of the Salafi and Wahhabi people that I meet and that I know, and that the cool ones that I talk to on a daily basis and on a regular, I'm all right with them. They don't know. They honestly just don't know. Like a lot of them don't know. They say follow the Quran and Sunnah. And you're like, okay, well, how do you do that? They're like, oh, we don't stick to just one of the four schools. We follow all the schools. Okay, well, how do you do that? Well, we go and order Bukhari off of Amazon, and then we read Bukhari and we follow Bukhari. Okay, well, Bukhari was a Shafi'i. He followed one of the schools, so I'm confused. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, excuse me. So, then I'm confused. You're telling me you follow the Quran and Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf, but the people who you call the Salaf, they all did what I'm doing. They all believed what I believe, but you call me a deviant. So we got to work this out. So this is not directed towards the people, the followers, the laymen and women who don't know any better. They just honestly, generally don't know anybody. They took Shahada, and the first person they seen was a Salafi or Wahhabi, and they pumped all this stuff like, "Hey, we're the only Muslims in the world, and everybody else is not a Muslim." They pumped that into their head, and then they were indoctrinated with this, and they just post this stuff, and then they spread it, and then we have people who don't even know they father Ain, repeating this stuff and making trouble with the individuals who actually, go out their way. So inshallah ta'ala, this is aimed at the doctrine. This isn't aimed at any one person, the people. It's actually aimed at, Bin Baz and Uthaymeen and all that. I'm warning people against them. So it is about them. Don't be all emotional because I'm talking about the people who turned you out. Don't get emotional about that. Let's keep it, let's stay focused. We're here for Quran and Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf. I'm finna give you too much of that. We got too much of it for you. And I'm here to tell you and prove to you that what Uthaymeen, Baz, and that whole Brady bunch, Al Albani, what they were on is not the Quran and the Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf. Before I jump into the topic, into the treaties, uh, 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 I don't want people to get bewildered by this. So when the points are proven wrong about the Salafi and Wahhabi minhaj, don't just give up. Become a member of one of the four schools of thought. Become Hanafi, become Maliki, become Shafi'i, or become Hanbali. Become one of the four. Find you a teacher that is certified in one of those four schools, and your Aqidah will be straight, and your everyday worship, your fiqh, it will be straight, and you will have no worries. That is locked tight. Nothing can penetrate that. That is Islam. Everything outside of that right now, we don't know what it is. It's bid'ah. Anything outside of those four schools is bid'ah. So choose one of the four schools and say, hey, Malika, assalamu alaikum. Choose one of the four schools. Find you a teacher. If you don't have any teacher, get with me. I can hook you up with some folks, and we can get you where you need to be. But I'm here to tell you the Salafi Minhaj is bid'ah, and we're getting ready to prove it. So, first things first. I want everybody to know, and most of the Salafi and Wahhabi people, they don't know what these concepts are. They do know the false asl and the Salafi Wahhabi school, or it's not even a school, a group. It's a group. They do know the take the ayah or the hadith at the apparent meaning. We call this hakiki or hakika or tathbit or athbat, ithbat. It's all kinds of different things. So, hey, Duran, salam alaikum, Aki. So, taking the getting the meaning out of the apparent, out of the words, basically. So making it literal. So that is the Salafi asl, which is bid'ah. We don't. There's a very scarce layer, a very thin layer, and trace of evidence of this in the time of the Salaf, but it was still rejected. I don't want to promote it, so I'm not going to say where it is. The Salafi and the Wahhabis haven't even figured it out yet, so I'm not even going to make it an issue. But for the most part, I want to be safe in saying that this is bid'ah. This is not the way of the Salaf. So the way of the Salaf, now we're talking about the mutashabihat. So first thing that you all have to understand, and first thing that has to be understood as Muslims, we cannot and do not just pick up the Quran and pick up the Hadith and then, like the Salafi and Wahhabi teachers say, the first thing that comes to your mind or whatever is apparent in your mind about what you're reading. We don't approach these things without the proper tool set. I want to say that. So I don't want to use too many Arabic words and confuse people. That word is asl or usul. They are principles that will guide a person when interpreting our deen. So we don't just do like other religions and pick up the Quran and pick up the Hadith and we read it and then however we translate it, that's what it is. That is not the Sunnah that we follow. That is not the way that we follow. The way that we follow is that we follow certified scholars, individuals or people or schools like the 4 schools that codified these things, the usul. They codified this. So if you follow that, you won't jump out of bounds. When you don't follow it, you jump out of bounds. And if you're not following it, that means you're a scholar to the highest right. So only the people who have the right to approach the Quran and approach the Sunnah by themselves and they use the usul are the mujtahideen, and we don't have any today. We have very high scholars. We have mujtahids inside of the schools, but we do not have those absolute mujtahid scholars on the earth today, like Malik, like Abu Hanifa, like Shafi'i and Ahmad. So since we don't have a mujtahid, we must follow one of those 4 mujtahideen. That is the Quran, that is the Sunnah. Anything else is batil. Okay? So with that being understood, we have verses, we have ayat, we have hadiths that are what we call mutashabihat. To be brief, they can carry, they are ambiguous. These verses are ambiguous. They can carry more than one meaning. And we get into hey, salam alaikum, Brashay. Good to see you here. We cannot allow ourselves to get in trouble. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me. We can't allow ourselves to get into trouble like falling into kufr. Okay, the scholars of the Salaf said that it is kufr for us to to get involved with the mutashabihat. Okay, even the Quran, take the dhikr of the Quran about the mutashabihat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that he's the only one that knows the meanings, and the people who try to go after the meanings, there's a sickness in their hearts. This is the first proof and the first evidence against the Salafi and Wahhabi religion. Remember this part. Remember this, okay? Remember this. This is timestamp this at 23 minutes, okay? 23 minutes in. I'm telling you all that the Quran says that the people who go after the meanings of the mutashabihats, they have a sickness in their hearts. Okay? Remember that. 20 timestamp at 23 minutes in. I'm reminding y'all of that. So this is a basic principle. This is a basic usul, a basic foundational principle that we can hold on to make sure that we that we don't fall errant or go astray. So, okay, so with that understood, when we come to the mutashabihat, and please, everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get the hawk out there. Let's get this truth out there, and let's, come together. We have to come together. If we are fighting each other, we will never come together, and we will never truly build a community. So, like this, share this, inshallah ta'ala, and we can take back the narrative of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, because the Salafi and Wahhabis have hijacked it. Okay, so you have the mutashabihat ayat, and you have a mutashabihat hadith. For example, and I'm only saying this stuff because the way of the Salaf was to not even discuss it. This is the foundational principle in Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, is to not even discuss the mutashabihat. To not even discuss it. So I'm only discussing it for the sake of sharing the knowledge of sharing the knowledge and sharing the principles and sharing the foundation that we shouldn't discuss it. So since we're on the topic, we have to say what it is. So stuff like the istiwa ala al-arsh. Okay, this is the biggest topic. Allah Ta'ala establishing himself over the throne. And in other parts of the Quran and Hadith, it is said that the throne is above the heavens. Okay, so this is all obscure. We can't define it. So how do you deal with these obscure ayats, these obscure hadiths? And that's what this topic is about. We have a hadith as well, so that's an example from the Quran. Now we're going to go to an example from the hadith. There is a set of hadiths, or a handful of hadiths about a slave woman that was asked about. That was the Prophet Muhammad SAW asked her about her belief. Okay, and it's nicknamed Hadithul-Jaariyah. Excuse me, the hadith of the slave woman. Okay, the Salafi and Wahhabi people have taken this hadith and made it a foundational principle in their group. And with it being with them making that a foundational principle of their group, they have made this. Let me say the right word. Hold on, excuse me. The group, they have taken this. They have taken this and this hadith and made it a foundational principle of belief in their group, and this is not correct. So we're gonna get into the details of that, inshallah ta'ala. So first, know this: we established mutashabihat in the ayat of the Quran, some ayats of the Quran, and in some hadith. These I gave two examples. So if you truly want to follow the Quran and the Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf, you have to use the tools that the Salaf used. So the tools of interpreting these obscure ayats and hadith. ayats that are troubling. And remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that we should not go, I'm paraphrasing, we should not go after the meanings of these ayats, okay? What are the tools? What are the tools of dealing with these ayats and these hadiths? You have two concepts. The concepts are called tafweed and ta'wil, okay? Tafweed is just confirming the ayat or the hadith and not giving it any type of interpretation at all whatsoever. And ta'wil, ta'wil is to give it a proper interpretation. And you must be skilled. You must be learned with the principles of ta'wil. So the principle of dealing with the mutashabihat has principles. This is how sophisticated this issue is. It's not a Facebook argument, copy and paste situation. So when the Salafi and the Wahhabis do this, this shows their ignorance. So to be able to deal with the mutashabihat, the principle ta'wil, one of the principles, ta'wil, has principles. Inshallah ta'ala, I'm gonna work on a video breaking down some of those principles. And if you're going to do ta'wil, you should either say what the certified scholars said in applying the tool, the certified Salafi scholars, the true scholars from the Salaf, not the people in Saudi Arabia, how they utilized the tool of ta'wil, the asl of ta'wil. You just say what they said about the matter, or you learn those principles, inshallah ta'ala, and you have to sit with somebody to do this, because just because you learn the concepts doesn't mean you can begin to apply them. And you should be afraid, you should be scared to try and do ta'wil. You should be terrified of doing it. This is a thing that is scholarly. You should be scared, because remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran that the people that go after the meanings of the mutashabihat, they have a sickness in their hearts. You do not want to be, Salafi people, Wahhabi people, you do not want to be a person that is guilty of that. So be humble. Don't be mad at me for telling you. Only the hypocrites get mad when they get corrected. And then they throw slurs and they get mad at you and they reject what you're saying. Those are the signs of hypocrisy. And we know that the hypocrites are not Muslims. So this is not a game. This is not a game whatsoever. Our deen is at stake while we're trying to win an argument on Facebook. Do not, I repeat to you, and with me, even myself, this applies to me. Whenever a Salafi or Wahhabi challenges me, okay, I want to hear you out. Now, if you're doing the whole copy and pasting and you're being a parrot of everything I've already heard for 10 years, I'm not rejecting you at all. You're wrong. I've already heard it before. All the Salafi slogans. We follow the Quran, Sunnah, according to the way of the Salaf. We follow we accept the 4 schools, but we don't follow just one school in particular. We follow the most sound opinion of all of the 4 schools. We don't blind follow anybody. I know the Salafi religion. I know it. It's easy. It's that easy. We take the apparent meaning of the text. That's the Salafi religion. I know it. So don't tell me, oh, you don't know what Salafiyah is. I get so many people asking me inside of these type of videos, these refutations. They ask me, oh, well, what is your definition of Salafiyah? The definition of the Salafi group is to follow the Quran and Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf. That's what it is. So don't tell me I don't know it. So I'm rejecting that because that's wrong. And it's bid'ah. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to warning myself. I'm trying to warn you. Be careful. This is a matter of nifaq. This is a matter of belief and disbelief. Because if you continue with the apparent meaning stuff you can slide off into likening Allah Ta'ala to his creation. And we're going to get deep into that. So we have to get back on track. We have the mutashabihat ayat, and we have the mutashabihat hadith. Now, how do we deal with them? The way that the scholars of the Salaf, we're talking about the three blessed generations, and their students, which we like to call in the academic world the Khalaf. We have the Salaf and we have the Khalaf. So the Salaf is that time period with those three blessed generations, which nobody disputes. If you dispute the agreed upon scholars in the three blessed generations, you need to go and learn the obligations of Salah and stop having these types of conversations. Go and memorize the obligations of Salah, the obligations of wudu, and stay right there and wait until your sheikh say that you can come out. So we got the three blessed generations and the agreed upon scholars, and then we have their students, the Khalaf, okay? We have to look to, if you want to be a real Salafi, you will look to what is, how they dealt with the mutashabihats. They got the juice, okay? Not the people in Saudi Arabia, not Fawzan, not Uthaymin, not Bin Baz, not Al-Albani and Madkhal, all of them. They do not have the juice. Okay, they could have been the means to the juice. All right, just like our scholars that are from the madahib, they are not. They don't have the juice. They are means to the juice. Okay, so you got to go if you really want to be a real Salafi. I ain't gonna say disregard. Technically, I'm gonna say disregard, but disregard what the Saudi Arabian scholars are telling you. Disregard what Uthaymin is telling you, what Fawzan is telling you, what Bin Baz is telling you, what Al-Albani is telling you, what Madkhal is telling you. Disregard it, okay? If you really want to be a Salafi. And then go to the books, the approved. There's only a few of the books. There's not a lot, and it ain't hard. Go and find those books and see what those scholars said. And I guarantee you 100%. None of them did this business of taking the text at the apparent meaning. This is bid'ah from Ibn Abdul Wahhab and his people. Ibn Taymiyyah did it in the Khalaf, but he was rejected in doing so. Nobody accepted Ibn Taymiyyah's Aqidah, okay? But y'all don't know this because all y'all hear is Ibn Taymiyyah, Fawzan, and Sheikh Uthaymin. They pounded it into your head. Ibn Taymiyyah was not from the time of the Salaf. He was from the time of the Khalaf. And the scholars in the time of the Khalaf, they rained down on Ibn Taymiyyah. They jumped on him. He was a scholar, yes, but they jumped on him in matters of Aqidah. So he's not a proof for Aqidah. Fiqh, yes, he is a proof, but nobody ever talking about his fiqh. Nobody at this fiqh, that's what we're they claim they love him so much, but they don't follow him. They don't follow his fiqh. So anyway, look at what I guarantee you 100% that when you look at the time, when you look at the Khalaf and when you look at the Salaf, they all did either tafweed or ta'wil. All of them in the first half of this matter. So in the time of the Salaf, most of them were mufawwid. They did tafweed. And then in the second half, in the Khalaf, most of the eminent scholars, the approved scholars, even the muhaddithin, they did ta'wil. None of them did this whole taking the text at the apparent meaning business. None of them. They did tafweed or they did ta'wil. Okay, with that established. So mind you, so now we get into the meat on the bone. We're putting the rubber to the road right now, okay? So I just made a claim. So I get all the Salafi Wahhabis, slandering me. So you making claims. Where's your evidence? Where's your proof? And I always tell them, go back and look at the video. Make notes of my video where you think I'm wrong and come talk to me. If you don't yell at me, I won't yell at you. If you don't slander me, I won't slander you. I can get there with you with the best of them. If you want to go point for point, book for book, hadith for hadith, Quran for Quran, I can stay up 24 hours doing that with you. I love this. This is what I do. This is what I live for. We can do it all day. Wallahi, we did a 3.5 hour show like 2 weeks ago. We did a 3.5 hour show just talking about the deen, something similar to this. So now we're gonna put the rubber to the road. Let's prove who really is following the Quran and Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf. Let's prove that. So I'm gonna pull up a statement from Bin Baz in his Majma'ul Fatawa. He was reported to have said, and he made a big, long statement, and for the sake of brevity, I'm making a claim and I'm proving it, and you go back and you go do the research and you find it or whatever. But it's inside his Majma'ul Fatawa. He was reported to have said, as for ta'wil of Allah's subhanahu wa ta'ala attributes and diverging them from apparent meaning, this is the methodology of those who follow bid'ah, such as the Jahmiyyah, the Mu'tazila, and those who follow them. Their madhabs, schools of jurisprudence, are batil, null, and void, and have been denied and renounced by Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, who have warned against their promoters, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the grantor of success. Na'udhu billah. That's one of his statements, and the same statement, he went to giving some examples for the sake of brevity. I'm not going to do it. If you want to see it, I can send it to you. I have it right here. So anybody think I'm lying because I'm proving my point and I'm going to prove Bin Baz wrong. If you think I'm lying, I got it and I'll post it and I'll send it to you. So don't play with me. It's even titled The Ruling on Ta'wil, and they call it a figurative interpretation of Allah Ta'ala's attributes. His opening statement was, Ta'wil of Allah Ta'ala's attributes is munkar. It is disapproved by the Islamic law and Muslims of sound intellect, and it is not permissible. In fact, it is obligatory for the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be accepted as stated according to their apparent meaning. That's this zahir, hakiki, tathbit business, which I'm telling you all that's bid'ah. And I'm going to prove it. Without tahrif, distortion of the meaning, without ta'atil, denial, and takyif, describing how, or tamthil, likening Allah Ta'ala to his creation. Okay, so this has Bin Baz saying that ta'wil is haram. Okay, so I chose the two most popular Wahhabi scholars because this is who mostly the internet people copy and paste. So I chose them for a reason. So we striking the snake at the head. We striking right at the root. All right, so so that's Bin Baz, okay? So remember what Bin Baz said. Bin Baz disapproved. He basically said that ta'wil was haram and it was not from the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, okay? All right, so let's move to Uthaymin, okay? The Mr. Uthaymin in his book, The Exemplary Principles Concerning the Beautiful Names and Attributes. Very famous book, okay? Wahhabi actually got me hip to this book, and I appreciate him. I hope he's guided by now. He sent me this. Well, he didn't send it to me, but he copy and pasted something out of it. And alhamdulillah, now I have the book, and I can see it from the horse's mouth, and we can strike right at the root. So this is in section 3.3 of that book, and it's titled, The Meanings of the Attributes Are Known to Us, while their specific details are not, okay? One of his quotes is, these are the textual and intellectual evidences that prove that we are able to understand the meanings and the texts regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes, the mutashabihats. As for the evidences that prove we are ignorant of their specific details, then this has preceded, and he gave a reference to where he had discussed this, okay? And then he goes to say, so now based on this, one can see that the futility So he of the Mufawwida. So he's calling tafweed futile. Okay, these are his exact words. One can see the futility of the Mufawwida, the people who do tafweed, to translate that for people who don't know Arabic. The Mufawwida beliefs, those who claim that we cannot understand the meanings of the texts concerning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala attributes, and that this was the way of the Salaf, while the Salaf was free of these ideas. Okay. And then he goes on to say, there, the Salafs, wa rahmatullah alayhim, sayings of affirmation of the meanings of the texts are abundant and widespread. Okay. All right, so let's recap. We got Bin Baz on one hand saying ta'wil is haram, and then we got Uthaymin on the other hand saying tafweed is haram. So let me explain this. Let's rewind. Remember, let's go back. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, remember I told you to timestamp this video at 23 minutes in. Allah, and go look at the ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that those people that go after the meanings of the mutashabihat have a sickness in their heart. And you just heard me read from Bin Baz and Uthaymin, who said that people know the meanings of the mutashabihat. So before you try to refute me, refute Bin Baz and refute Uthaymin. They are contradicting the Quran. How can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that only he knows the meanings of the mutashabihats, and then they turn around and say that we know the meaning? And then I'm not going to read their explanation of why, because it's bid'ah and it's evil and it's batil, and I will not poison the people with this. But they actually use Quranic ayats to try and prove this bid'ah belief. They actually use Quranic ayats. If this is not hypocrisy, then no man on the planet, then hypocrisy does not exist. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, recap, listen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that those people that go after the meanings, they have a sickness in their heart. And you just heard me say the two most popular Salafi Wahhabi scholars in their works and their books saying that we do know the meanings. So it's important at this point in the discussion that we clarify this. The tools of that the Salaf use, their usul of tafweed and ta'wil, those tools are set in place. We're set in place by the Sahaba. So that we don't fall into that category of trying to look into what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we cannot look into. This is big danger here. You think you know better than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Mr. Bin Baz and Mr. Uthaymin and Mr. Ibn Abdul Wahhab and the whole Brady Bunch. This is the doctrine. But people don't know this stuff. They're not taught what tafweed and ta'wil is. They're not taught that. They're taught that, and you heard me mention in both Bin Baz's statement and Uthaymin's statement that their bid'ati asl, or their false tool, is to take the apparent meaning, the hakiki or the tathbit or whatever they like to call it, the zahir, whatever they, take it at its apparent meaning. You just heard them say that, okay? So this is what's important to understand. Those guys attacked Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, because Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the scholars of the Salaf and the Khalaf, they never did this, taking it at the apparent meaning. And then you heard me in Uthaymin's statement in his book even say that the Salaf did this. Nobody has ever produced evidence of this. That I want to see. Any Salafi Wahhabis that think I'm lying and y'all mad at me for saying this stuff, please provide. Hey, our friend Shakir Abdullah / Ukasha / Musannaf. Hey, brother. He's a scholar. He's a Wahhabi scholar. Shakir Abdullah. Where are you at? He commented. I'm not sure I want to put your comment up because you like to say a lot of bid'ah. I don't know what it say. Okay. Hold up. Oh, that's Abu Isa. Allah says those of the firmly grounded in knowledge. Okay, I don't know what you were referring to. Okay, hold up. Here we go. Boom! I told you they was coming. Didn't I tell you they was coming with the slanders? Didn't I tell you that they were coming with the denial of the haq? I'm not calling him a hypocrite, but he said I'm lying. Y'all, I don't know when he tuned in, but y'all just heard me read their books and I have the references. Don't play with me. I have the references. He fell right into the trap. That's what makes me wonder, because we know that, and sorry, we're gonna get back on topic, but we know that Ibn Abdul Wahhab, and we know that Abdul Aziz or Saud, whatever the king name that he teamed up with, we know that they were British agents, working for the Jews and the Christians to topple Islam from the inside out. This is common knowledge. Makes me wonder, Shakir Abdullah / Okasha / Musannaf, if you are one of those agents that are sent here to just cause confusion. You just called me a liar, and I just told you, I just read the stuff and gave you the references. So, and I'm assuming that you're rejecting what I'm saying. So, any person who rejects the haq and they they belittle people, that is hypocrisy. So be careful, my brothers. Shakir Abdullah, you have a Muslim name. We've never seen your face, so we don't know if you're actually Muslim or if you're not. You scared to show your face. That's a coward move, if you ask me. But anyway, back on topic. So so Shakir, I put your comment up there. Go and get me evidence that from the time of the Salaf, and I'll post it up here, and you can be the one to slay the dragon. I'm undefeated against the Salafi and the Wahhabis, and even you don't want no smoke with me. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to go and get some evidence from the time of the Salaf for the Hakiki or the Tathbit, taking it at the apparent meaning, and go copy and paste it for wherever you copy and paste from on Google. Put it in the comments, and I'm gonna put up here on the video and prove me wrong. I'm willing to be wrong, so prove me wrong. If you ain't right, then I'm gonna cut your head off. You know that. So you know that. You know that. I've already. You're a Shakir Abdullah is you're a zombie, man. I done blew your head off a few times, but you're a pain freak. So pain is a universal language. So go get your evidence. Anyway, those two main scholars in the Salafi Wahhabi religion, Uthaymin and Bin Baz, just lied on the Salaf. They both said that this is Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. They're taking it their apparent meaning, so on and so forth. Okay, so now we're gonna bust their heads. So I'm gonna put y'all to work. I've done videos already, and if you need to see them, I don't want this video to be about that. About the statements that were connected to the scholars. So statements of tafwid and statements of ta'wil attributed to scholars of the Salaf and the Khalaf. And I have a list of names of scholars from the Salaf and scholars from the Khalaf who all did tafwid and ta'wil. I've already done a video proving that. So we ain't gonna go into and read all of their statements. I'm challenging any Salafi or Wahhabi to make me a liar and bring me the statements or from these scholars that I'm getting ready to read you a list to. I'm challenging anybody. So here's the evidence. So what's his name? Uthaymin and Bin Baz said that the Salaf did not do tafwid, and they did not do ta'wil, and that they took the mutashabihat verses at their apparent meaning. They all said that. I'm saying that that's a lie, and I'm saying that all these names I'm about to read all were proponents of tafwid and ta'wil, and I'm anybody watching this, prove me wrong. And when you get your evidence, don't be a coward. And or when you get what you think is evidence, don't be a coward and make a post, and then I gotta put my people on you, and then they tell me about the post, and then we gotta go back and forth posting about each other. Be a man or a woman and get your evidence and come on here and discuss with me. So I'm gonna bring you mine, and this is parts of it. So these are scholars. This is a list of scholars from the Salaf and the Khalaf that did tafweed and that did ta'wil. And I have some of their statements, and one of them I actually forgot. Do I have? Yes. Okay. So I'll give you. I'll read one of those examples. One of these scholars is enough evidence to destroy the Uthaymin and Bin Baz alone, and it's one of their favorite scholars. So, okay. Anyway, the list of scholars that did tafweed and ta'wil. First, we're gonna start with the Sahaba. Ibn Abbas, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was a proponent of tafweed and ta'wil. All of his tafsir, when you go to the tafsir of Ibn Abbas, when it came to the mutashabihat, he only did tafweed and he only did ta'wil. Let's go to the next generation, the tabi'in. Sufyan Thawri, Sufyan ibn Uyayna. Both Sufyans were proponents of tafweed and ta'wil. Let's go to the next generation, the tabi'in, Mujahid, Sa'id ibn Jubayr. These are two big names in the tabi'in, okay? These were the students of the tabi'in. If you look at their tafasir, they did tafweed and they did ta'wil. Let's go further. Let's go to the next. Now let's go to the salaf. Okay, everybody loves that word. Everybody loves that name, salaf. Okay, let's go to the imams, the two imams, the leaders of the salaf. Okay, or all four of them were the leaders, but let's go to the originators of the salaf. We don't have Islam unless we have these guys, right? Imam Abu Hanifa, proponent of tafweed, proponent of ta'wil. Okay. Imam, just for an example, Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahumullah, he is reported to have said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala existed before all of the creation, and he is where he was before creation existed. This is evidence against the Salafi and Wahhabi madhab. No, it's not even a madhab, the group. Imam Malik, y'all already know that because y'all know I'm Maliki. So Imam Malik, proponent of tafweed, proponent of ta'wil. So we need to pause here for a second. Let's pause for a second before I continue through my list. Let's give an example. So the Salafi and the Wahhabi people like to lie on scholars. So they have a unknown narration that the Malikis don't accept. Where they say that somehow the wording got messed up and the chain is messed up, and actually Shakir Abdullah and Musannaf and Okasha, they all like to use this, where Imam Malik was asked about the istiwa on the arsh, and they said that Imam Malik's response was, and I'm paraphrasing, they say that Imam Malik's response was, is that the istiwa is known, but the kayf is unknown, and they use this as evidence for their tashbih of liking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his creation. They use that as evidence. First and foremost, you don't find any Maliki scholars, and I'm Maliki. It's not in any of our books. We don't accept that particular narration. We have the authentic narration with the authentic chain. Okay? We have the authentic narration. That one narration I just said, it's rejected. So the actual people, so if the Salafi and the Wahhabi people, y'all are not Malikis, which that means that y'all are not versed in the Maliki school, how can you be on the outside of the country of the Maliki school saying what the Malikis believe and then teaching the whole rest of the world that the Malikis believe that, and you're not even in the school to be able to see if we believe that or not? So I'm here to explain to y'all, it's not in any of our books. And I've only studied the first two books in the Maliki school, and I'm working on the third, the Risala, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. Y'all make dua that I finish it. But I have a sheikh who memorized Mukhtasar Khalil, the biggest Maliki book. So he's a giant in Maliki fiqh. And he confirmed that this narration is bid'ah. He confirmed it. He memorized Mukhtasar Shakir. I see you blowing up the comments. So listen to this. My sheikh memorized Mukhtasar Khalil, and he has ijazah in it. And his name is in the chains of transmission through Murabbatul Hajj, rahimahumullah, all the way back to Sidi Khalil, unbroken chain. So y'all playing with some real killers. You playing with real killers. I asked him about this, and he confirmed this narration is, we don't know about it. We don't confirm it. Where they've been, he told me that they've been asking the Salafi and the Wahhabi people for a long time, give us the chain so we can examine this. Okay, let's move forward. So the actual narration, which is in the Maliki madhab, it is transmitted by the Maliki scholars, says that when Malik was asked about istiwa on the Arsh, first he was, he couldn't believe somebody even discussed it, somebody even asked it. He couldn't believe that. They said that he broke out in a profusive sweat. This is how haram this whole conversation is. And I don't understand why the Salafi and the Wahhabi people like to play around with this. They like to play with people's iman. They play with their iman, and they like to play with people's iman. They want to take they didn't want to take some false word and say, oh, he said the istiwa is known, and then the case about it is unknown. No. Let's focus. What we like to do in Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, what we like to do, we look at every letter and we look at every word. We're known for details. Y'all are not known for details. And I haven't even got to the Hadithul-Jaariyah yet. This probably gonna have to be a part two. But even the hadith of the slave girl is based on details. The rejection of what y'all think is based on detail. So first and foremost, Imam Malik could not believe that somebody asked him about the istiwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is all types of evidence, okay? The first evidence is this was not a conversation during the time of the Salaf. It was not a conversation during the time of the Tabi'in, and the Sahaba. They did not do the bid'ah what the Salafi and Wahhabi minhaj is doing and asking and teaching people about the mutashabihats. They didn't do it. Asking about it is bid'ah, and it's actually in that narration. But they teach it. How are you following the Quran and Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf, and the very evidence that you use in out of hypocrisy, you don't even see at the bottom of that narration that Imam Malik said that you are an evil man. This is you asking this question is bid'ah, and you are an evil man, and then he had that dude removed. How do y'all omit that from y'all's teachings? But y'all are misguiding people and sending them out into the Facebook universe to terrorize people on their Facebook pages. Hypocrisy at its finest. So back to the lesson. The actual narration, Imam Malik said, the istiwa is known. That is a statement of tafweed. This is not the whole tathbit and hakiki crap. This is not that. It's tafweed. And y'all don't know what tafweed is. Go back to the beginning of the video and figure it out. So when he said that the istiwa was known, then this was tafweed because it's in the Quran. You cannot deny it. And his actual statement was that the how is illogical. It's illogical. He didn't say we don't know how, which fits into the little belief that Allah did istiwa in a manner that befits him. Bid'ah, haram, kufr. Bid'ah, haram, kufr. That is likening Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his creation. Khalas. Okay? Imam Malik, he confirmed the ayah. You cannot deny the ayah. He confirmed the ayah, and then he gave you ta'wil. So he did tafweed and he did ta'wil. He didn't do this taking it at the apparent meaning garbage. He didn't do that. He did tafweed and ta'wil in the same sentence. Play with me. I got the narration. I'm trying to keep this as short as possible so that the people don't get lost. Play with me, Shakir Abdullah and Musannaf, whoever you are. Play with me. I have the narration with the chain. With the chain. Yours doesn't have a chain. With the chain. Play with me. And I'll embarrass you. Play with me. So Imam Malik did tafweed. He said the istiwa is known because Allah Ta'ala said it in the Quran. You cannot deny that. But then he went and gave that same statement to Awil. He gave it the appropriate interpretation. This is evidence against the whole Salafi religion. It destroys the whole Salafi religion. He said the cave is illogical. You can't imagine it. It's illogical. That's the explanation. Not in the manner that befits Allah. Haram, bid'ah, kufr. Okay? That's from Imam Malik. That ain't from me. So Shakir Abdullah, you don't hate me. I mean, you don't hate me, you hate Imam Malik. If you disagree with what I'm saying, you disagree with the Maliki school. You disagree with Imam Malik. What's the evidence behind what I'm saying? And I have not forgotten my topic, where I was in the topic. So in case anybody got lost, what's the evidence for this? We have many other statements from Imam Malik where he was doing ta'wil of the mutashabihats, and he was doing tafweed of the mutashabihats. One time he was asked, and he said, we take the mutashabihat ayat and we pass it just like we received it, which means we don't give it any meaning. We don't give it any meaning. No meaning. This is tafweedu ma'na, which y'all just heard Bin Baz and Uthaymin said was haram. So here we have Imam Malik, and I just gave Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik that just paraphrased y'all two statements of evidence of what they said. They were the mujtahid imams of their time, in the time of the Salaf, in the three blessed golden generations. So who would I choose as a logical, sincere, striving Muslim? Who would I choose? Bin Baz and Uthaymin, or Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik? Who would I choose? You are not a sincere Muslim if you choose Bin Baz and Uthaymin. Your Aqidah and your Iman is crooked if you choose Bin Baz and Uthaymin over Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik. Imam Abu Hanifa, you're not a Muslim if you do not believe that Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik were not mujtahid. You don't have Islam. You have not come into Islam if you do not agree that Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa were scholars in the highest right, accepted in every single generation. When you have Bin Baz and you have the Uthaymin, they are rejected by all of the scholars in every generation, most of them. 90, I would argue, 90% of all of the scholars that followed their schools, that learned their usul, learned their asl, they learned the way of Malik, they learned the way of Imam Abu Hanifa, they learned the way of Imam Shafi'i, they learned the way of Imam Ahmad. All of them did tafweed, the ta'wil. This alone destroys the Salafi religion. Destroys it. It's over. Game over. Game time. Call it. It's a wrap. Join the four schools of thought. You do not, if you're looking at this and you've seen this, you don't have no more excuses. Only hypocrisy after this. Let me go further. I had to bring that narration up because I had to bring that narration up because the Salafi and Wahhabi people use that false narration and say, oh, well, here's a statement of taking it from the apparent meaning, the mutashabihat, from the apparent meaning, and from Imam Malik. They lie on the four Imams. They lie. They lie. And like I said, I have the evidence, so don't play with me. So let's go forward. Still, we are in, we're listing scholars who did tafweed and ta'wil, and they did not take the mutashabihat at their apparent meanings. And we're in the time of the Salaf. After Imam Malik, we had Imam Shafi'i. He was also tafweedi. He was also mufawwid. He is famed. Okay, so Shafi'i and Ahmad, because I'm getting too long. I'm gonna have to make a part 2 and finish this because I don't want to make these long. Imam Shafi'i quoted Sufyan ibn Uyayna, the Tabi'i, okay, as saying when he was asked about the mutashabihat, and he said, we take it and then we give it. We don't give it any meaning. We ascribe to it any meaning. And he even attested. Imam Shafi'i is one of Imam Malik's great. Everybody know that was a student, his best student. Everybody know that. And he said, Imam Shafi'i, he said that the whole entire of the Hijaz would not have any knowledge had it not be for Malik and Sufyan. Excuse me, Sufyan and Malik. Sufyan was one of Malik's teachers. And they were proponents of tafweed and ta'wil. Imam Shafi'i said the whole entire of the Hijaz would not have Islam had it not be Sufyan and Malik. And they were tafweed, they were mufawwid and muta'awwid. Those statements, how much more evidence do you want? Those statements alone drop a nuclear bomb on the whole Salafi minhaj. Okay, going forward. We had Ahmad. After Ahmad, Imam Bukhari. He did tafweed and he did ta'wil. After Bukhari, we're gonna go to Tirmidhi. Tirmidhi, he did tafweed and he did ta'wil. After him, let's go to another muhaddith, Imam Nawawi. He did tafweed and he did ta'wil. Let's go to another generation. As a matter of fact, let's stay in this generation. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali. He did tafweed, well, he didn't do ta'wil. He did tafweed. My Hanbali brother's gonna get mad at me. Let's stay in his generation. Let's stay around in that generation. Ibn Kathir. Okay, so we got tafweed. We got tafweed from the Sahaba. We got tafweed from the Tabi'een. We got tafweed also in ta'wil in the time of the Salaf, and some of these other scholars, Ibn Rajab, they're Khalafi, Ibn Jawzi, Ibn Qudama, Ibn Abdul Barr. Okay, we're going on and on. They were all staunch proponents of tafweed and ta'wil, right? Let's throw in the grand golden goose of Ibn Kathir, okay? Let's throw in the grand goose of Ibn Kathir. Let's see what the beloved, the Salafis and the Wahhabis, they love Ibn Kathir. And they don't even know Ibn Kathir was an Ash'ari. Silly rabbits. Okay, let's see what Ibn Kathir had to say about the mutashabihat ayat. It's a long quote. I don't want to make it long. Okay, so I'm gonna paraphrase this so I just don't get long-winded. I already got long-winded, so I'm gonna paraphrase this. So this is the statement of Ibn Kathir himself. And this is in his tafsir. It's not hard to find. I have the reference. Do not play with me. He said, so he was asked about هذا مقام كثير ليس هذا. So he was asked about the mutashabihat. Well, he was answering the mutashabihat about the mutashabihat in the Quran and Surah Al-Ma'idah 103. Okay, and is that right? Oh, excuse me, that's wrong. I'm reading another. That was Ibn. This was another one from Ibn Abbas. I'm sorry, it's not the right one. What? Bear with me. I'm trying to read through the Arabic. My Arabic is not the best, so it takes me a little second for me to get through it. Give me 1 second. ثم استوى على العرش. Okay, so this was his tafsir, and this was his tafsir on the statement ثم استوى على العرش. Okay. So he said he's on the maqam, the position of the which is many, which is old. He's on the maqam, which is old. He's basically saying like it's nothing new. He's bringing nothing new. في هذا المقام مذهب السلف الصالحين. Okay, so he said this is the maqam of the maqam and the madhab salafi salihi. Okay, so he said this is the madhab of the righteous predecessors, the righteous salaf. Okay, Malik wal Awza'i wal Thawri Sufyan wal Layth Ibn Sa'd والشافعي وأحمد وأحمد ابن حنبل وإسحاق ابن راهوي excuse me وغيرهم أئمة المسلمين قديما. Okay, so in a sense, this is they all follow the same way. Okay, وهما إمرارها كما جاءت من غير تكييف ولا تشبيه ولا تعطيل والظاهر متبادل. Okay, so what's the highlight? His first statement, he said the way of the Salaf, the way of the people who came before, what did they do? What did he say? Malik did. Ishaq ibn Rahaway, Shafi'i, Ahmad, all the people from the Salaf, right? Some of the people that I mentioned. He said he's on the way, he's on the madhab of them, right? He said, وَهُوَ إِمْرَارَهَا كَمَا جَاءَتْ. He said they let it pass. They took it and they let it pass without takyif, without tashbih, without doing any type of rejection, without ta'til, rejection of it, making or doing tashbih, likening it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is tafweed. He said they just let it pass. They took it how it came. They just let it pass. And they didn't do takyif, they didn't do ta'til, and they did not do tashbih. This is big evidence. This is Ibn Kathir. He was an Ash'ari. Big evidence. How could they quote this man? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Darussalam publications, they produce his tafsir. I think they're the biggest producers of his tafsir. How did they miss that part? His statement of tafweed said when it came to us, we let it pass. He didn't say he gave it the apparent and or whatever the apparent the hakiki the tathbit and all this stuff. What Uthaymin and Bin Baz said, he didn't say that. Big evidence. So let me finish the list. Then I'm gonna jump into these comments, and then we will have to. The second part of this will have to be the evidence. Hadithul-Jaariyah is evidence against the Salafi minhaj, not evidence for them, which was the intended purpose of this video. But you got to understand this stuff before you go and touch the hadith of the slave woman. So Ibn Qudama, Ibn Abdul Barr, Ibn al-Hajar al-Asqalani, al-Bayhaqi, Abu Fadl al-Tamimi, Abdul Qahir al-Baghdadi, and amongst plenty more. So that's just a small list from the Sahaba and everything in between up until really, the big scholars, the people of the Khalaf kind of, it dissipated. Big evidence against them. All those scholars did tafweed the ta'wil. Prove me wrong. All of them. So to recap this whole point, Bin Baz and Uthaymin oppose all of those scholars from the Salaf and the Khalaf. So how are you following the Salafi, the Quran and Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf when you're not doing what they did? Especially, forget the fiqh, but we talking about Aqidah, we talking about Iman, we talking about belief. What is the problem with this? Because a lot of people like to make it like, oh, well, we don't do tafweed, we don't do ta'wil, we do tathbit, we don't. It's not that. It's not a difference of opinion. It's not a difference of opinion. This is a matter of kufr and belief, kufr and iman. And some of the Khalaf scholars, when they were dealing with this, they said this. They said that most of them were the Hanbali scholars. They were the biggest. The Hanabila were the biggest soldiers against people who thought like this. They were the biggest soldiers. They cut straight through to them, straight through them. They didn't even deal with ta'wil. They took that out the equation because they seen they were playing around. People that thought like this were playing around with ta'wil. So they kept it mufawwid. They kept it tafweed. They didn't even, they said, we don't translate it. We don't translate it. Allah Ta'ala did the istiwa. Okay, all right, we don't translate it. Well, what about when Allah Ta'ala said yada, and I forget the ayah, khalaqatu yada. We don't translate it. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. It came, you recite it, leave it alone. That's what the scholars of Khalaf did. That's what the Hanabila were doing to the people who thought like this at that time. The people who wanted to play with the religion. They wanted to play with the deen. They wanted to go and take Allah and put human characteristics to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what that taking it at the apparent meaning, this is what that will do to you. This is what that will do to you. It's impossible to take it at the apparent meaning. It's literally impossible. It's literally impossible and it's illogical. Why? Then this is taken from one of my points for the hadith of Hadithul-Jaariyah. You got two different hadiths. And this will be a precursor to the second, to a part two, inshallah. And I promise I'll jump straight into the rebuttal of the Salafi and Wahhabis using the Hadithul-Jaariyah as evidence that of their tashbih, of making a likeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But first we had to establish that their scholars, their doctrine teaches people that tafweed and ta'wil is haram. So I have to give you that precursor before we begin talking about Hadithul-Jaariyah, because once I tell you that, hey, we have to do ta'wil, we have to apply ta'wil to this to understand it correctly. But you're Jahmi, you're Kulabi, you're Jahmi, and then you're gonna shut your ears off because they have indoctrinated people to believe that making tafweed and making ta'wil is haram. So hopefully I just obliterated that. Hopefully I just obliterated it. And I try my best not to get long and drawn out, but like I said, let me see if I can find this section in this book. Yeah, okay. So this is small. Like I said, play with me. I got this receipts. Play with me. You just seen, I just proved to y'all, Bin Baz and Uthaymin said that Tafweed and Ta'wil was haram. This whole section of this book from people within the madhab, the madahib. They, Bin Baz and Uthaymin, they were not people in the madhab. So they didn't learn it. They might have read a couple books here and there with the preconceived notion, but they were not people of the madhab. So this is what the people of the madhab say. So, like I said, the four imams were giants to Bin Baz was an ant, Uthaymin was an ant, and the four imams were giants all the way up to the highest heaven. That's the comparison, okay? So this is the usul. Some of this is the asl of from the people in the four schools. This is one of the books from within the schools. Don't tell me what Uthaymin said because he didn't abide by the school. Don't tell me what Fawzan said. He did not abide by the school. Do not tell me what Al-Albani said. He did not abide by the school. Don't tell me what those guys said. Let's go to the school itself and see what was said within the schools. Don't let those people don't blind follow those people because they're lying. And I got the receipts. I done made 30-something videos proving to y'all that they're lying. I done made 30-something videos. So stop playing. This is from within. I don't want people to attack the book because anything that doesn't agree with what they believe, they attack it. You can't attack this. These are people. This is written. This book is written by people who have been given ijazah within the school. Okay, so know that first. Look at this section in this book, and this is dealing with Aqidah. Look at the section in the book, the Ta'wil of Ibn Abbas concerning the word I in the Quran. The Ta'wil of Ibn Abbas. Again, this is a Sahabi doing Ta'wil, and you heard me read Bin Baz say that Ta'wil was haram, and that it was batil, and that it was munkar. So Bin Baz is going against Ibn Abbas, the actual Sahabi, the Tarjumul Quran. This is not the religion of Islam. I don't know what that is he was talking about, but that was not Islam. The ta'wil of the word yad in the Quran, Ibn Abbas. The ta'wil of Ibn Abbas of the word nur in the Quran. The ta'wil of Ibn Abbas of the word wajah in the Quran. The ta'wil of Ibn Abbas of the word sak, the shin in the Quran, the ta'wil of Ibn Abbas on the word janab, the side in the Quran. Do you want to keep playing with me? Do you want to, with all the references, do you want to keep playing around playing these games? Stop copying and pasting what Fawzan said. Fawzan is null and void. Stop copying and pasting what Uthaymin said. He's null and void. Stop copying and pasting what Al-Albani said. He's null and void. Let's go to the Salaf. Let's go to the Khalaf and let's see what they said. Okay, Khalas. So now we know in this video, this is evidence that tafweed and ta'wil is the way that we interpret the mutashabihat. That is the way. So now going forward, when we talk about the differences with these mutashabihat, these hadiths, you will know now, the viewers, the sincere viewers, y'all will now know that tafweed and ta'wil is legitimate, and this whole taking stuff at the zahir meaning is illegitimate. We now know that. So when we get to the hadith of the slave girl, we will know that the tools that we have to apply have to be tafweed and or ta'wil, not taking the apparent meaning. I hope, I don't know how this could be more clear. So inshallah ta'ala in part 2, I'll have to do it next week. We'll do it. Okay, so yeah, okay, so I see Shakir, Musannaf, Okasha. Well, okay. Okay, so you ain't saying nothing slick, brother. And he said, I'm making stuff up. Okay, there's the slander. You saying the Quran has no meaning. There's another slandering. So he is a card carrying Wahhabi. So he believes what bin Baz. He's been hoodwinked by bin Baz and by Uthaymeen. Y'all heard me read their statements that about the Quran having meaning and so on and so forth. And I paraphrase how they use ayats in the Quran, like Allah Ta'ala said that he revealed this Quran in clear Arabic. Come on, Shakir Abdullah. You ain't slick, my guy. I know the Salafi religion. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, Shakir Abdullah. Now, this is what's wrong with that. Shakir Abdullah, this is what's wrong with that. Why would you take Uthaymeen and Fawzan and bin Baz? Why would you take their tafsir over the tafsir of Ibn Abbas? Why would you take their tafsir over the tafsir of Ibn Kathir? Why would you take their tafsir over the tafsir of Mujahid? Look at what the Salaf said. When you look at those ayats, when it says Allah Ta'ala revealed the Quran and the Deen and the clear Arabic language and the clear Arabic tongue, when Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said that, he was just conveying to us that he didn't make this rocket scientist. That had no mufassir. You can't bring me one mufassir from the time of the Salah that said that this means that we know the meaning to the mutashabihat, bid'ah and kufr. Be careful, make tawbah. So you tried it. Cut it out. Bring the isnad. You're not a scholar. So you could not. I can show you. I have a whole book of sanad. And brother, I've offered you money to prove your points before, and you just sit and lie in comments all the time like you always do. I have a whole book of asanid that I bet you can't even read, let alone know who the people are. So quit asking for the sanad if you're not a scholar. You're not a scholar. You can't check or reference a sanad. I have a book with all of the narrators in it in the Maliki Madhab. And I guarantee you don't know who none of them are. He said, was Ali ibn Ali Talib Tafweedi? Funny you asked. So the Wahhabi religion didn't teach you that Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was quoted by the scholars of the Salaf as saying Allah Ta'ala existed before the universe existed, and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is where he was before that? You don't know about the Wahhabi religion didn't teach you about that? This is the problem with not following a school. These things are locked inside of the four madhab. And unless you are a student of one of the four madhab, and at best you're a student of all the four madhab, which is just about impossible, you won't know this stuff. You're going to miss it because you're listening to the pamphlets of Fawzan, bin Baz, Uthaymeen, and Al-Albani, and Ibn Abdul Wahhab, who none of them had ijazah from within the schools. They would claim them. They would say that they were Hanbali and fiqh or whatever. I haven't seen any of their Hanbali works. Where's their fiqh books? Bring that, Mr. Musannaf, Mr. Shakir Abdullah, Okasha. So yes, that was tafweed. I guess you can really say that that's ta'wil as well, because we're talking about the quote unquote placement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he did that. He said it. This is quality, this is certified. And you a scholar, go and find it and prove me wrong. So yes, Imam Ali was mufawwid. It's documented within the books of the Midahib. Why don't you visit them sometime? Oh yeah, okay. So Malik Muhammad, Malika Muhammad. I keep messing with her. Yeah, so she beat me to it. See, you see how it's the truth is universal. The sister was already on top of him. Man, you letting a sister get at you in the comments, man. But one of our brother imams, Abu Muhammad, he said that he was hip to you, and he said that you are really a sister, posing like you a man. Prove Abu Muhammad wrong and post your face, post a picture of you, or come on here. No, I'm not going to read chapter 5, 103. No, I'm not going to. Is you playing games? He's saying quote the Arabic. You don't know Arabic, so I'm not quoting no Arabic for you. So I'm doing tashbih with my hands. More slanders for the munafiqun. You keep using your hands talking about istiwa. More slander. Oh, Abu Isa. Assalamu alaikum, Ustadana. If I'm not mistaken, Ibn Kathir in that statement also says, and the apparent meaning that comes to mind is not what is intended. Yeah, he did. I stopped at that part. My Arabic started to lose me at that part. Abu Isa, it started to lose me at that part. We follow them. They are correct, but not in their errors. All right, Shakir Abdullah, in front of all these people that's watching, I got $100 if you can bring me one of the errors of the 4 imams. You're not even a mustahid. So let's talk about that for a quick little second. The Salafi Wahhabis say it. Hold up, because he might try to delete it. Let me put it up here, because you know they good at deleting their comments. When you bust their head, they'll delete their comment. Let me put it up here so everybody see it. Somebody screenshot that so he can't delete it and hide behind his lies. We follow the 4 imams when they are correct, but not in their errors. All right. So let's talk about that for a second. So if I'm a doctor and I went to school for 12 years and I'm the biggest brain surgeon in the world, and you never went to school to be a brain surgeon, let alone you are not a brain surgeon. You mean to tell me, according to the Salafi Wahhabi school, a person who is not a brain surgeon can tell a brain surgeon how to do brain surgery? Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying to you, brother, because you got this whole, twisted shaitani, horn of shaitani belief system. The mujtahideen were more ingenious than the highest brain surgeon in the world today. I guarantee you don't memorize even 10 hadith. Imam Ahmad was reported by his shuyukh, some of his shuyukh, that he memorized upwards of 2 million hadiths. You who don't even know Arabic, you who don't even know fiqh, you who don't even know mustalahul hadith, you who don't even know 10 hadiths, you who know nothing about the science of the men of hadith, you who know nothing about the usul al-fiqh, you know nothing about it. You are going to tell me that you will find the mistake of individuals who taught all of this stuff at the highest level, who knew it better than anybody, who knew it at its highest level of knowing? You and your layman self will find a mistake? We've already proven Bin Baz and Uthaymin to be liars. So let's say that those are the legs of the Salafi and Wahhabi minhaj. One of the conditions of being, a public teacher, a speaker, or a sheikh, or a narrator, a mujtahid, a faqih, an usuli, is that you cannot be a liar. You cannot be a liar. Forget all the other stuff that you do have to do to fit that criteria. You cannot be a liar. I just proved, my dumb self just proved, who don't really even know Arabic that well. I don't memorize the Quran or none of that. Simple stuff. I just proved that they're liars. So I just cut the legs off. Like y'all saw, oh man, I'll break your back. Well, I just broke y'all's legs. I just cut y'all's legs off. And you might as well say I just shot y'all in the head. Because they all say the same stuff. Uthaymin say the same stuff. Bin Baz say the same stuff. Al-Albani say the same stuff for the most part. They all say the same stuff. So I just shot y'all in the head. What are you standing on? What are you standing on? Those dudes can't touch Imam Ahmad. What do you mean in their errors? Allah, excuse me. Na'udhu billah. Wa iyadu billah. Shakir Abdullah, you and your kind that believe that in y'all religion, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the person who has the atom's weight of cubit in their heart, they will never enter Jannah. This is pure arrogance. Pure arrogance. So dismiss that. I can't read what you the Arabic you put up, Abu Isa. I mean, Isa, come on here and get some of this smoke, man. I already told Shakir Abdullah that Abu Isa will destroy you in a conversation. Since y'all don't like the word debate, Abu Isa will destroy you. You will either, when Abu Isa get done with you, you will either become a Christian or you're going to become a Hanbali or a Maliki or a Shafi'i or a Hanafi. Real talk. Maliki Muhammad said their interpretation of the hadith of the slave girl is distorted anyway. They believe her pointing up is indicative to a direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no direction. Allahu mawjood bila makan. Yes, Allah is forever without a place. So yeah, and we're gonna break that down, how this is impossible. Ta'wil can mean tafsir. Ta'wil does mean tafsir. Read what they said. I don't know what you're talking about. You pointed to your side. So you're guilty of tashbih. Slander again. So if you ever did Ramadan, since you're a special troll, I said in the beginning that I forgive anybody who slandered me. I'm not gonna forgive. I'm gonna need your best Ramadan on the day of Qiyamah. And so he's just trolling the comments. Where is Abu Isa? That's my homie. Oh, what you mean? Where Abu Isa at? Abu Isa, I told you that was Musannaf. I told you it was. Yeah, he on here. Come get some of this work. Like I said, by the time he get done with you, you either gonna be his student. If you sincere, if you got this much sincerity in you, you will be his student, or you're gonna become a Christian. I have horrible pronunciation. You butcher Arabic. Yeah, but my Akita is good. So I'm above you in that, Mr. Spelling Bee champion. you and the fool Abu Bara. Y'all spelling bee champions, but y'all Akita is from the shaitan. And that's silly. Hey, Rabia. She said this makes the most sense. Alhamdulillah, to me. Tavares, what's going on, man? Come get some of this smoke. My Hanafi brother checking in. He checking in. He said, so it took the Salafi ulama to pick out the so-called errors of the early ulama. What happened to the hundreds and thousands of ulama that came after them? Why haven't they pointed out their errors? And having a difference of opinion is not the same. Their religion is built on it's stuff that is illogical. When they was making up, when Ibn Abdul Wahhab was making up their religion, he he wasn't a scholar, so he didn't know about all this other evidence when he was making up the religion. He was just worried about being a conquistador. So now that we have the internet and the world is connected with all the knowledge, we all can see the lies. And this is a good logical point. Muhammad and Abdul Wahab came along and said, "Oh yeah, we follow them until they make errors," and then he created all these parrots like Shakir Abdullah, Musannaf, or Kasha, whatever your name is, and they go and parrot this, but they don't even know, like you said, thousands of years pass with millions of scholars from within the madhab came, and none of them pointed out the errors. None of them, but the brilliant Mujaddid Ibn Abdul Wahhab and his gang, they found the errors. And mind you, they have not ever once came and pointed out an error. And I will bet any amount of money, I will pay as a prize. Let me say not bet. I will pay any Wahhabi who can bring me evidence of one of their errors. I got $100 for you as a cash app. Make me a liar in front of all of the people. And Shakir Abdullah, Ukasha Musannaf. I told you to put your evidence for taking the mutashabihat at the from the time of the salaf. I told you to put that in the comments maybe an hour ago, and all you doing is lying and trolling the comments. So that shows the people, all these people, the whole world, everybody that's watching this, is that you and your friends and your religion don't have any evidence. Y'all don't have any proofs. Okay, so that's all. I think that's all the comments. Hold up. I forgot about my wife's page. Her page has a lot of the Salafi and Wahhabis on it. Okay. My guy Lonzo Arrington, what it do, baby? Assalamu alaikum, Aki. Ali Eddin. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing me out. I don't want no smoke. Hey, on the way up, what up with it, Aki? Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I ain't trying to be mean in there, y'all. I just want us all to come together, and I want Muslims to, the Muslim community. Like, listen, Philadelphia is, man, like, y'all have a lot of Muslims, man. Imagine if Philadelphia was Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Like, if Philadelphia converts to Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Black people are going to be free. So that's why I think they got agents like Shakir Abdullah. That's why I think they got agents like them that come and cause mischief and confusion and to keep us disunited so that we can never be free. They make money on us continuously being the lowest in this society. So this is the only reason why I'm making these videos. I'm not trying to bully or pick on people. I'm not trying to madhab bang, none of that. As y'all see, I'm coming with straight evidences, straight out of the Quran and Sunnah according to the way of the Salaf. So this ain't, besides Shakir Abdullah, me and him, we go back and forth all the time. That's my punching bag, so y'all don't pay him no attention. Oh, D. Lamont, my big brother on here. What's going on, man? Assalamu alaikum, big bro. How you feeling? Living off the land? What you doing on here? Why? You sneaking and gigging? Why? You think about time for you to get one of them shahadas, man. You done tried and done anything else? If you ready to sit down? Matter of fact, you older than me. You ready to sit down with your little brother? You ready to sit down living off the land? What's up, man? Get with me. Inshallah. Abdullah Had, assalamu alaikum. Rashid Johnson, assalamu alaikum. Oh, big bro, Jomo, what it do? And hey, listen, they be turning me up. Y'all don't want to play with Jomo. Saleh, what's going on? I see you on here ducking work. Suburb Quincy, assalamu alaikum, brother. All right, so I don't really see any comments. I'm gonna get up out of here, inshallah. Tilka Hayatu Shab, what it do, Aki? All right. Okay, inshallah. I'm gonna close this up. We're gonna have to do. Hey, Joyce Pro, I see you over there ducking work. Why? Hey, yeah, if y'all don't know, that's the gang, man. That's the gang. Pirates Hendrix, what it do? Aki Salam Alaikum. Okay, oh sorry, hold up. Brashay Kyler, she had a sister Brashay, she got a comment. She said, definitely I tried to warn someone and they switched it and told me I was a hypocrite, but they were a Wahhabi. Get it? They switched it to me. They were a Wahhabi. There was a Wahhabi. Get to talking about everything else. La ilaha illallah. Yeah. So when you bust their head, they ain't gonna come back with no Quran and Sunnah. You hit them with a hadith, they're not gonna hit you with no hadith. You hit them with some usul, they're not gonna hit you with no usul. As soon as you crack their head and be like, well, Imam Malik said that they take the mutashabat ayah and they pass them. They don't interpret them. And they be like, oh, you're a Kulabi, you're a Ash'ari, you're a Sufi, may Allah break your back. That's not that. Okay, fine. You feel like that. Doesn't hurt my feelings. I've been put out of better bars, okay? It's not the answer to the question, sir, ma'am. That's not a response. That's ignorance. Like when somebody call you names, if you come at them intellectually and you coming with your proofs and they call you a name, know that that person is a dummy. They don't have a response. They're dumb. They don't have a response. Oh, he's a Kulabi. He's a Ash'ari. He's a Maturidi. He's a Jahmi. Fine. That's not the answer to the question. I gave you evidence that Imam Malik was a mufawwid, and you're not a Muslim if you disagree with Imam Malik. You're not. Imam Malik was Hujjatul Islam. Imam Malik gave us the Islam that we have. You're reading his books. You're reading his materials. So if you disagree with Imam Malik, you disagree with Islam. And no, you do not have a license to disagree. Tavares, he gave him something else from Mr. Fauzan. Let's see what Mr. Fauzan said. This is getting too long. I need to get up out of here. I ain't even ate dinner yet. Y'all like, share, subscribe. I sacrifice my dinner. I sacrifice my time so that I can bring y'all some of this hawk. Because like I always say all the time, y'all, I know y'all ain't going to read all of these books. Hold on. Let me put this down for a quick second so I can make my little promotion. I know y'all not going to be like reading. This is just what I'm working on. And this is just what I grabbed at the moment. I got other books over here. I know y'all not going to be reading all of these books. And I got, let me see, in my research, I got my books, I got my research. Let me see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I got 22 tabs open of research and study. All those books, I'm bouncing between all of these books. I'm reading these books. I'm trying to memorize them, trying to learn them. And I got like 20-something, 30-something tabs open in addition to that. I know y'all not going to do all of that. So inshallah, make these videos a sacrifice time. I'm tired. I've been working all day. I got to go back to work tomorrow, inshallah. My wife in the room waiting on me. I ain't ate no food. My eyes burn. My allergies is kicking. Support. Show some support. Like it. Share it. And if you're watching YouTube, subscribe. No, I'm not going to call him Sheikh. Fauzan said the view of the early generations was not tafweed. Rather, their way was to believe in the text as they were revealed and to affirm the apparent meaning that is indicated by the words and their linguistic usage. At the same time, they did not liken any of these divine attributes to the attributes of his creation, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in interpretation of the meaning, there is nothing like unto him, and he is all hearing, all knowing. Okay, so that's the claim, right? So I think some people dropped in a little later. My little book go. So I'm gonna go straight to a part in my book and prove that wrong. Man, what did I do with my book? I lost the book. Shakir Abdullah done put a witch spell on me. And then took my evidence. Where did I put the book? Shakir Abdullah, he over there doing witchcraft, man. He over there doing witchcraft. Where's my book at? I sat it down somewhere. Look. Oh, here it is. Nah, your witchcraft didn't work. So y'all see the quote on the page, and y'all heard the claim from Mr. Falzan. So let's prove him wrong. This is on the quick side. If I can find the place. Can't find it. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah, I can't find it, y'all. I don't want to continue to waste y'all time, but so you seen the statement earlier of Ibn Kathir doing tafweed. I will read it again. We'll use Ibn Kathir's statement. I couldn't find it in my book. Let's see. We'll read Ibn Kathir's statement again. So you see, that was a quote from Mr. Falzan. So let's put Mr. Falzan up against Ibn Kathir. Now, mind you, Ibn Kathir said that all of these people. Now, this is Ibn Kathir. Now, even the Wahhabis love Ibn Kathir. The Salafis and the Wahhabis, they love Ibn Kathir. They quote Ibn Kathir. They think he's an evidence, and they don't even know that he was an Ash'ari. And he said that he was on the madhab of the Salafi Salih, the righteous predecessors, and he named some of them. And he said these people did tafweed. He said Malik, Al-Awza'i, Awza'i, Wathawri, wa Layth, Ibn Sa'd, wa Shafi'i, wa Ahmad ibn Hanbal, wa Ishaq ibn Hanbal, wa Ishaq ibn Rahaway. Okay, so those are some names that he mentioned. So this was Ibn Kathir himself said. He said this was the way of the Salaf. And he said they were the imams of the Muslims. They were the foundation of the imams of the Muslims. And he said, "Wahua imaraha kama ja'at." We let it pass by us. That's a loose translation, but that's tafweed. They did not, and then he defined it. He said, and they did not do takyif, making likeness. They didn't do tashbih, and they didn't do ta'til. They didn't deny it. They didn't liken it to anything, and they didn't do tashbih, make it like we have an arm, like Allah has an arm when he said a hand, or a hand when he says hand, or eye when he says eye, and so on and so forth. So he negated, number one, he negated what the Salafi say, first and foremost. This is Ibn Kathir. He negated it. And then the first thing he did is made tafweed. He made tafweed, and then he told everybody what they did not do with the Shabihat. And he listed all of those scholars of the Salaf. And he said that this was the way of the Salaf. And even in another statement that I've seen, he said that there's too much talking about this topic. So even talking about it is bid'ah. But this but the Salafi and Wahhabis have made this a pillar in their belief system. So you see the brother Tavares Avery posted a statement from Fauzan, and y'all copy and paste it, screenshot this, and pull it up in Google and see if he really said it. Y'all do y'all homework. I ain't gonna do it for you. And then you see what Ibn Kathir said. It's a no-brainer. Fauzan is not bigger than Ibn Kathir. Period. If Fauzan and Ibn Kathir fought, I'm taking Ibn Kathir. And if you take Fauzan, when you get knocked out with him. Ibn Charles said, "Me either." Yeah, you heard y'all read it. And if anybody want to play with me, I'll post it. I know y'all ain't gonna do whatever with it. Y'all don't want to see the evidence. Don't nobody like evidence. We just like to talk and argue. Don't nobody like evidence. Abu Isa, we're gonna let Abu Isa. Oh man, we ran Shakir Abdullah out, man. He might have blocked me somehow. Oh man, we done ran him out. We done ran him away, y'all. Oh man. He can't play at our park, man. We're gonna wrap this up. Abu Isa Gooden said, according to Ibn Qudama, if you take the sifat with the meanings of the language, it is tajsim, which is kufr. I'll leave it with that. Tajsim is another word for tashbih, and that's making Allah the creation. Allah is not like his creation. Anything that you think of, Allah is not that. So know that, anybody and everybody. And I hope y'all took a lesson out of this. We have to use tafweed, which is when we read these ayats that talk about the hand of Allah, the eye of Allah, the face of Allah. The best thing is leave it alone. Don't try to translate it. That is the safest position. You will get lost in a maze trying to translate it and trying to understand it. Number two, know that the Quran said that the people who try to figure out the ambiguous verses, they have a sickness in their heart. So y'all make dua for your brother Shakir Abdullah, or whatever his name is, that he gets that sickness out of his heart. Number three, know that ta'wil is the other tool to be able to interpret the ambiguous verses and hadiths in the Quran. I'm tired. In the Quran and the hadith, excuse me. Those are our tools. If it ain't tafweed and it ain't ta'wil, it's nothing. It's bid'ah, and it could even turn into kufr, and you could even compromise your Islam. This is what's at stake. This is not a game. This is not some plaything. Let's argue and copy and paste like y'all see Shakir was doing. You see once we got to pulling out proofs, he got up out them comments. That's what those guys always do. They come, they call you names, they never bring any proofs, and then they block you or they disappear. Cowards. You couldn't be where I'm from. You couldn't be where I'm from. Be from where I'm from. Gotta say that. I really wonder where these guys live. They're probably like in England somewhere, where the murder rate is like 11 people a year or something. The people get killed for less where I come from. Duran. I said, good night. I've been very good teaching. I truly learned a lot. Alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us all to benefit from this. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us on a straight path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us sincere on that straight path. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for any of our shortcomings. I joke with the brothers. May Allah forgive me for joking with the brothers. Honestly, I really shouldn't even be doing that. But they're clowns. So we gotta clown the clowns. So may Allah forgive me. I don't wanna, I ain't got nothing against nobody personally, but you can't come on here with that crazy stuff. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for any of our shortcomings, and forgive us if we disrespected any of our brothers or sisters. We just trying to get to the truth here, and we're trying to unify. That's what this effort is. The Salafi and Wahhabi minhaj do not believe that the 90% of the people who call themselves Muslims are Muslims. So this is dividing the ummah. This is dividing the community. And in order for us to unite, we got to get past this hurdle. We have to, that the masses have to know what the truth is about this matter. And inshallah, I trust that, the masses are sincere. And if you know better, you do better. I love y'all all for the sake of Allah. Please make dua for me. Please do make dua that I'm sincere. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all Jannatul Firdaus and forgive us all for our shortcomings. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله ولا إله إلا الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.